Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video where I wanted to build a look around one shade within the Hummingbird palette. I think that the color was beautiful and I wanted to build a look around it. I mainly used these two palettes right here, and I also dipped into All Amethyst from ColourPop just for a highlight. But if you want to see what I did, then just stick around. If you've never been here before, hello. My name is Rachel. I am a homeschooling stay-at-home mom. I love to play with colorful eyeshadow. I upload about 3, 4, 5 videos a week depending on the week. It's been a lot lately and it's all eyeshadow related content. So if you like what you see and you want to see more, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you leave so you don't miss anything new. Now let's get rolling. So for today's look, I wanted to pair it around one shimmer within the Hummingbird palette from Oden. I really want to play with this beautiful purple shimmer. It's a deep royal purple, but it has these pink blue flecks to it. And I thought that it'd be really pretty to have this as kind of the focal point of the eye look, but I don't want to pair it with blue. I actually want to pair it with some greens. So I grabbed the Wilderness palette from Beauty Bay and I want to play with the shade Ivy and the shade Mint. After that, I'm not entirely sure which direction the look is going to go. I know I don't want the shimmer to cover my entire lid because I don't want that dark of a color all over my lid. So I'm probably going to grab a lighter tone from somewhere else, but this is where we're starting. I've already primed my eyes with the Moonlight icing primer, and I'm going to move right through this because soon I need to get lunch for my kids. I'm going to start with a medium dense blending brush from e.l.f. and I'm grabbing the shade Ivy within the Wilderness palette. Now I'm starting with Ivy, the darkest tone, instead of adding it into an already blended transition color, because Beauty Bay shadows do like to work from dark to light, and so knowing the formula is very helpful in terms of getting the best results. And I do like Beauty Bay shadows. I don't really have any complaints about them. When I first tried them, I was doing light to dark application technique, and Beauty Bay wasn't always great for that, and also I would get creasing issues with the shimmers. However, I started to work dark to light and I started using the Moonlight icing primer, and both of those issues were resolved by making just those two changes. So now that I've learned that, I do really like the Beauty Bay formula. And the shadows, I mean, you can't really argue with the pigmentation. They're very good. And I like their color stories as well. I think that overall, their palettes have more interesting color stories than some other brands. I can't imagine this look is going to take very long because I have a pretty solid idea of what I want to do. This is a pinched blending brush going into Mint, and I'm going to use this to blend or buff out the edges. Try to keep it lower than my eyebrow. I know I usually pair purple with blue, and I thought that it would be fun to use this purple shimmer with a slightly less expected complementary color. And recently I did a video, I can card it above for you, where I was talking about the shadows within my palettes which don't get much use. It was actually a subscriber suggestion for a video, and I thought it was a great idea. It was actually done in 2 videos, but I've carded the one where I'm talking specifically about the Hummingbird palette. And I don't remember if that video was also talking about Wilderness. Uh-oh, baby's awake. I'm gonna hurry through. Anyway, she's supposed to be napping. She's not napping. I'm gonna feed her lunch and then try again. We'll probably finish this video after lunch. But anyway, I was talking about the Hummingbird palette, and that shadow was one that gets very little use because it's a dark purple, and I don't usually tend towards the very dark purples and blues, especially in a shimmer which I place on my lid, unless I'm doing a smoky eye or something. So I wanted to focus on that color today and see if I could incorporate it in a way that made me use the shadow and still like the result without it being too dark for my preferences. So that's what today's video is about. I'm bringing Mint onto my lower lash line as well while I'm here, and I've got a good brush for it. And I will probably deepen the outer corner with a smudger brush in the shade Ivy as well. I love these colors together. They're so pretty. They actually make me think of On the Prowl, which I think is from the Lush Life palette from ColourPop. I did a whole look around that shade, and this is making me think of that color. It's lovely. All right, so I decided what I'm gonna do for a lighter tone. I've grabbed the All Amethyst palette from ColourPop. I know I've said 100 times, I don't like these 3 shades, they're duds, but the rest of the shades in the palette are really lovely. I want to take this shade right here called Sunbird. This is a lighter toned purple shimmer, and I think if I place this on most of the lid, and then take the Hummingbird purple and put it over in the middle, it will probably have a better result and give me the lightness that I want in the inner corner, as opposed to laying Hummingbird down and then trying to add the lighter tone to it. Does that make sense? Like putting down a dark shade and then trying to lighten it a little bit, as opposed to putting down a light base and deepening up just the area I want. I think that makes sense. So I'm going to take my finger and take the shade Sunbird and apply that on most of the lid. I don't much care how it looks over here where I'm going to cover it, but I do want this Sunbird shade to have good coverage in the inner part of the lid. So that's where I'm focusing my attention. And now I'm taking a flat brush and I'm going into the shade Hummingbird from the Hummingbird palette. It is such a beautiful tone. This palette, to me, this palette is kind of a special shades palette because there are only a couple of mattes. The mattes are good, but they're not super exciting. They're good mattes. They're good Oden's Eye mattes, but they're nothing, they're nothing terribly remarkable or exciting. They're just good mattes, you know. But the shimmers in this palette, I do find them to be quite lovely. And so for me, this palette is sort of a special shade. So I'm going to put Hummingbird right here on top of the Sunbird shadow and meeting up with the dark greens. And now, because it's got the lighter base, I feel like I can spread it out where I want it to be without taking over. Does that make sense? I really don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I'm thinking. And the shimmer will blend nicely into the other shimmer. Even though they're different companies, they're still closer in formula than matte to shimmer. So overall, I just feel like this gives me a little bit more control. There, that's really pretty. I love the way the purple works with the green, but I did a very purple and green look recently, but it was totally different tones. It was way different shades of the colors, and this is more of a peacocky purpley green sort of look. Does that make sense? I think it's pretty. I think the tones work nicely together. It's not like lime green with a royal purple or something that might still be interesting and maybe fun and pretty, but clash a bit more. It's not as cohesive, not as blendable. I think that this is quite a blendable way to do purple and green that's not scary or not Halloween-y. I do like it. Now for an inner corner highlight. Since I've already pulled out the palette, I'm going to take this shade right here. It is called Brilliant. It is a lovely inner corner highlight. I'm going to spray it. This shade has sort of a blue-white iridescent kind of undertone, but it still also has the purple in it. So I'm using that all over the inner corner. I actually didn't do anything. There's this part of my eye right here, the inner third of the lower lash line, is totally naked. I'm not sure if I want to carry the inner corner down, which is something I typically do, or if I want to bring the shimmer, the purpley shimmer, down onto the lower lid or the lower lash line, or if I want to bring the green all the way through. I've decided to bring the mint green all the way into the inner corner because I know myself and I know my looks well enough at this point, and I know my history, that if I bring a dark color all the way to the inner corner, it's going to make me look pretty tired. And I generally keep that for like a smoky eye. I think I usually try to have a much brighter inner corner. And I think that this minty green is actually a lovely option because it's color all the way through, but it's not a very dark color. Then we'll go back into that inner corner highlight shade and just carry that down a little bit to lighten the green a smidge. It's not the most striking inner corner highlight. It's more of a muted, as though you had taken maybe a NYX jumbo white pencil, you know, and just tapped a little bit. It just brightens the area a little bit, but it doesn't add crazy shimmer or sparkle. It's just a little bit of a soft glow. And I think it's pretty. So there you go. I'm going to choose a waterline color, and then I will finish everything up and be back to show you guys how this turned out. Okay, here we go. Here's the final look. On my waterline, I used one of these colors from Oden's Eye. This is number 8 from their liner series. This is like a lavender color, and I do not think that this particular color performs that well. I bought 2 from Oden's Eye. One of them is that incredible, vibrant, and pigmented vermilion shade that I love. This one definitely falls short of that one. It's really, really a soft purple, and it doesn't show up that well on the waterline, and it also doesn't last very long. So I would probably look elsewhere for a light lilac-y purple liner if you wanted this color, but anyway, that's what I used. On my lips, I'm wearing NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Eclair, and on my, it was a highlight, I was trying this Nomad shade again that my subscriber gifted me. I'm sure I mispronounced it the last time I said it out loud. It's from their Around the World series, so I'll just show you what it looks like so you can see the name of it. I don't want to butcher the Vietnamese or Taiwanese pronunciation. I forget. Taiwanese, I think. Anyway, this is the highlighter that I've got right here. Maybe you can see that. I thought it was a beautiful match to the eye look itself. And actually, I put a dab of that on the inner corner as well on top of the ColourPop shade because I realized that they are really, really close shades. The ColourPop is a more eyeshadowy formula, whereas this one is certainly more of a highlight formula. But I think that the ColourPop formula, because it's a lighter, maybe less opaque shimmer, it would actually probably work as a beautiful highlight as well, and you get pretty much this result. So anyway, that's what I've got on. And I think that's everything. So I think the look is beautiful. Again, I love these tones together. I feel that they're less frightening if you wanted to do a purple into green or teal. It's a little bit more manageable, a little bit more wearable, and less shocking than some brighter versions of those tones. I think it's lovely. I hope you liked the video. I hope you liked the look. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave if you like what you see. Thank you so much for watching, and until I see you guys in my next video, have a great day. Bye!